He was your quiet neighbor, or so you thought. What's the darkest secret you've uncovered? It's August 2024, and the Florida heat wraps Palm Bay like a fever, the air thick with humidity and the drone of cicadas. 10 miles from the Atlantic coast, Cypress Lane is a sleepy suburban street lined with pastel bungalows, their lawns scorched brown under the relentless sun. At 1427 Cypress Lane, a single-story house with peeling paint and perpetually drawn blinds stands out like a sore thumb. Its owner, Robert Klein, a 62-year-old retiree with wire-rimmed glasses and a curt nod, is a ghost to the neighborhood. He mows his overgrown yard 20 feet from the curb, waves politely, and vanishes behind his locked front door. But in his garage, 25 feet from the house, a 5-foot steel safe bolted to the concrete floor holds a secret that's about to unravel a decades-long lie. Klein's house is a fortress of solitude. No visitors, no mail stacking up, no chatter at the mailbox 15 feet from his porch. Sarah Coleman, a 45-year-old nurse living 50 feet away at 1429 Cypress Lane, calls him the quiet guy who never lingers. Her teenage son, Ethan, 17, isn't so sure. For weeks, Ethan's been watching Klein's place. His curiosity peaked after spotting him at 2 a.m. hauling a heavy box into the garage, the metallic clank echoing in the still night. "Something's weird, Mom," Ethan says, scrolling through his phone, texting friends about the creepy neighbor. On August 12th, with Klein's pickup truck gone from the driveway 10 feet from the garage, Ethan sneaks through a hedge 15 feet from the house and peers through a crack in the garage window. Under a flickering fluorescent bulb, he sees it, a 5-foot safe, its dial gleaming like a taunt. He snaps a blurry photo and posts it to a local Reddit thread, captioned, "What's my neighbor hiding in this safe?" The post explodes, racking up 3,000 upvotes in 24 hours and catching the eye of Detective Maria Alvarez, a 38-year-old Palm Bay cop with a nose for trouble. Alvarez, stationed at the precinct 3 miles from Cypress Lane, runs Klein's name through the system. It's too clean. No credit history before 1995, no family, no past. "Nobody's that invisible," she mutters, her gut screaming red flags. She pulls his property records. The house was bought with cash in 95, no mortgage, no paper trail. Neighbors report odd habits. Klein pays for groceries in cash at a store 2 miles away, avoids the annual block party 100 feet down the street, and never uses a credit card. Ethan's Reddit post, now trending locally, sparks tips. A cashier 5 miles away saw Klein buying padlocks, and a mailman recalls him redirecting mail to a P.O. box 3 miles from the post office. Alvarez secures a warrant, and on August 15, her team descends on Klein's garage 25 feet from his front door. Under portable floodlights, a locksmith cracks the safe, its hinges groaning after decades of silence. Inside, stacks of forged documents, 6 driver's licenses, 4 passports, 3 birth certificates, all under different names, but with Klein's face. A faded 1980s photo of a young man, not Klein, stares out from a Florida ID labeled James Whitaker, reported missing from Miami in 1994, 120 miles south. A handwritten ledger lists bank accounts tied to Whitaker's name drained in the 90s. Klein, pulled over 5 miles away for a broken taillight, goes pale when cuffed. "It's not what you think," he stammers, but his trembling hands betray him. The garage, humid and reeking of rust, feels like a crypt as Alvarez's team bags the evidence. A single key, taped to the ledger, is marked Storage Unit 47. Who was Robert Klein, really? And why lock a stolen life in a 5-foot safe? This Florida suburb's about to face a truth darker than the night. Have you ever doubted someone's identity? Drop your thoughts below, because this story's just getting started. Sarah Coleman's neighborhood was tight-knit, except for Klein. She'd lived next door for a decade, 50 feet from his house, and barely knew his voice. Ethan's Reddit post, now at 5,000 upvotes, has neighbors whispering someone saw Klein burning papers in a fire pit 20 feet from his garage last month, the smoke thick and chemical. Alvarez uncovers a burner phone in Klein's truck, 5 miles from the precinct, with calls to a Miami number tied to a defunct bar. A clue 300 miles away, buried in the safe's papers, is about to turn this case upside down. What's your theory? Harmless loner or master deceiver? Hit the comments because part 2's coming in hot. The Palm Bay precinct, 3 miles from Cypress Lane, is a hive of activity as Detective Alvarez's team unpacks the 5-foot safe's contents on a folding table. The garage, 25 feet from Klein's front door, is now a crime scene, cordoned off with yellow tape that snaps in the humid Florida breeze. Under the fluorescent glare, the safe's haul tells a story. 6 driver's licenses from Florida, Texas, and Georgia. 4 passports with stamps from Mexico and Canada. 3 birth certificates, all with different names, but Klein's face aged across decades. The faded photo of James Whitaker, a 30-year-old Miami bartender missing since 1994, stares out from a 1980s ID, his eyes eerily similar to Klein's. A handwritten ledger, its pages brittle, lists bank accounts and wire transfers. $200,000 funneled through shell companies in the Caymans, 700 miles away, between 1995 and 2000. The rusted key taped to the ledger, marked Storage Unit 47, dangles like a promise of answers. Alvarez's pulse races. This isn't just identity theft, it's a life stolen, meticulously planned. Klein sits in a gray interrogation room, 10 feet from Alvarez's desk, his hands cuffed, glasses slipping down his nose. "I'm Robert Klein," he insists, his voice steady but his fingers twitching like a trapped insect. Alvarez slides the Whitaker ID across the table. "Then who's this?" she asks, her dark eyes boring into him. Klein's jaw tightens, but he says nothing. His records are a dead end, no trace before 1995, when he bought the Cypress Lane house with cash, 10 miles from Palm Bay's coast. Alvarez digs into Whitaker's file. A charming bartender, 30, vanished after a shift at a Miami dive bar 120 miles south. His apartment cleared out, his 1988 Chevy found abandoned 15 miles from the city. Witnesses from 94 recall Whitaker arguing with a man matching Klein's build, 5'10", wiry, glasses, near the bar's jukebox, 5 feet from the counter, over a $5,000 debt. Was Klein that man? Sarah Coleman, the neighbor, is rattled when Alvarez knocks on her door, 50 feet from Klein's house. "He was so quiet," she says, her voice shaky, hands clutching a coffee mug. Ethan, her son, spills more. He saw Klein burning papers in a backyard fire pit, 20 feet from the garage a month ago, the smoke stinging his eyes. "It smelled like chemicals," he tells Alvarez, showing the Reddit post, now at 7,000 upvotes. Locals chime in online. A cashier at a hardware store 2 miles away saw Klein buying padlocks and duct tape, and a neighbor 100 feet down the street noticed his truck leaving at odd hours, like 3 a.m. Alvarez's team tracks the ledger's accounts to a close Miami bank, but the storage unit key points to a facility in Melbourne, 30 miles north. At the facility, 10 feet from a chain-link fence, Unit 47 yields a duffel bag, more forged IDs, $10,000 in cash, and a 1994 Miami Herald clipping about Whitaker's disappearance, folded like a relic. Maria, a clerk at a budget inn 2 miles from Cypress Lane, adds a twist. She tells Alvarez she saw Klein, or someone like him, checking in under the name John Carter in 2010, paying cash for a week, 15 feet from the front desk. "He had a limp back then," she says, her smoker's rasp cutting through the precinct's hum. Klein's truck, searched 5 miles from his house, holds a burner phone with texts to a Key West number 200 miles away. "Keep it quiet, it's done." Who was he texting? Alvarez's gut says Klein's not just a loner. He's a man running from a past that's catching up. A lead 300 miles away, tied to that Key West number, is about to crack this case wide open. Who's Robert Klein hiding from? Drop your guess in the comments because part 3 is about to blow the lid off. The Melbourne storage facility, 30 miles from Palm Bay, is a concrete labyrinth under a scorching Florida sun. But Unit 47 feels like a vault of secrets when Alvarez's team pries it open. The duffel bag inside, 10 feet from the unit's door, holds a second layer of clues. More forged IDs, a stack of $100 bills wrapped in plastic, and that 1994 Miami Herald clipping about James Whittaker's disappearance, its edges crumbling. The headline reads, "Miami bartender vanishes after late shift," detailing Whittaker's last night at a dive bar 120 miles south, 5 miles from Miami's neon-lit streets. Alvarez's team cross-references the safe's ledger. Bank accounts in Whittaker's name drained in 1995, the year Robert Klein bought his Palm Bay house, 10 miles from the coast. The Key West number from Klein's burner phone, 200 miles away, traces to a payphone at a gas station, last used in 2015. But a name in the ledger, Elena Torres, sparks a breakthrough. Torres, a 60-year-old former barmaid from Whittaker's old haunt, lives 300 miles away in Tampa. Could she hold the key to Klein's real identity? Back at the Palm Bay precinct, 3 miles from Cypress Lane, Alvarez confronts Klein in the interrogation room, 10 feet from her desk. "James Whittaker's dead, isn't he?" she asks, tossing the 1994 clipping in front of him. Klein's face crumples, his hands shaking. "I didn't kill him," he mutters, his voice breaking like glass. The truth spills out like a flood. Klein's real name is David Harper, a drifter who met Whittaker in Miami in 1994. Harper, then 32, was scraping by, working odd jobs at the bar 5 feet from Whittaker's station. Whittaker, a charmer with big dreams, owed $5,000 to a loan shark and bragged about skipping town. One night, after a heated argument 10 feet from the bar's jukebox, Whittaker vanished, leaving his ID and bank details in his apartment 2 miles away. Harper, desperate and broke, took them, assuming Whittaker had fled. He became James Whittaker, then Robert Klein, building a quiet life in Palm Bay, 120 miles north, stashing proof of his stolen identity in the 5-foot safe in his garage, 25 feet from his front door. Elena Torres, tracked down in Tampa, 300 miles from Palm Bay, fills in the gaps. Now 60, her hands tremble as she tells Alvarez about 1994. "James was in deep with bad people," she says, her voice heavy with regret. "He told me he was running, but I never saw him again." She remembers Harper, same height, same glasses, lingering at the bar, always watching. Did Harper kill Whittaker to steal his life? No body was ever found, and Harper swears Whittaker left town alive. The ledger's accounts, drained in 1995, suggest Harper lived off Whittaker's savings, but there's no proof of murder, only theft and deception. Harper's charged with identity theft and fraud, not murder, as Whittaker's case remains cold 30 years later. The Cypress Lane house, 10 miles from Palm Bay's coast, is taped off, a tabloid magnet with headlines screaming, "Florida's secret safe," and "Neighbor's stolen life." Sarah Coleman and Ethan, 50 feet away, are shaken. Sarah plans to move. Ethan's Reddit post now at 12,000 upvotes. This story, inspired by real identity theft cases but woven with fiction to protect the innocent, is a warning. The quiet neighbor might be hiding more than you think. Have you ever doubted someone's identity? Drop your thoughts below, and if this gripped you, smash that like, subscribe and share. More confessions are coming to keep you on edge.